Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit, and I'm here to bring you some League of Legends commentary as promised. So I got out of League of Legends about 4 or 5 months ago, and I've been wanting to get back in since they're going to be bringing the proper spectator system into the game quite soon. Finally, after so much freaking time. And I was also not playing because I actually didn't get my referrals bonus. Some of you might be aware that I had a referral link at the bottom of WTF's League of Legends, which got about, 650,000 views, so I got a lot of referrals that way. And the aim was to get up to 1,000 past level 5, so that I could get a part of the game named after me. That's the referral reward for that. I'm actually at 4,500 right now, past level 5, and over 9,000 total referrals, and I still haven't got that yet. But I spoke to Riot at DreamHack, and they're going to get it all sorted out very shortly, so it's all good. It's all good. So I'm going to be doing a bit of commentary right here. This is partially for my own benefit, really, because I'm out of the metagame right now. I haven't been playing for 4 months. I've only really just reinstalled the game a couple of days ago. So, to me, this is really a case of relearning and getting my head back in the right kind of place. I used to play an awful lot of this. I used to play at least 4 or 5 games a day, usually. And I used to play in ranked ladder as well and things like that. So I sort of knew what I was doing, but now I'm way behind. So I decided to revisit one of my favorite characters, Cho'gath. Needless to say, I wear the best skin for him. You can see top hat there, very, very good. I'm playing with a Caitlyn, an Akali, and Alistar and a Sona. We are all on Vent, and as a result, we are also going up against a fixed team here, consisting of Gragas, Vladimir, Xin Zhao, Blitzcrank, and Yavin IV, who I have no idea about. This is one of the heroes that was brought in while I was not playing, so I'm not familiar with what Yavin does at all. No doubt we can find that out as we go. Sadly, we've got Total Digest over there, letting the team down with his lack of skin, and everyone knows, of course, that skins equals skill. Needless to say, not the case, but it's kind of fun to troll people that way nonetheless, so we're all good. Right, so the setup we've got going on right here, we're going to be having Alistar in the jungle, and they're going to be having Xin Zhao in the jungle. So there will be a solo top lane, which I will be taking with teleport, as you can see. We've got Gragas, who ends up being in the top lane here without teleport. He actually takes Ignite, which, as it turns out, is completely useless to him. Now, I'm using the League of Legends unofficial replay viewer thingy, LOL recorder here, so the interface is not great, honestly. It's a little difficult to commentate, but we'll give it a try anyway. I think everything should be fine. My god, I need to do something about this push scrolling right here with the middle button. So, we open up with a Clairvoyance. They open up with one as well, but we think they actually missed us there. We're almost convinced that they did. It was quite late. You'll often find that in a fixed team environment, someone will bring Clairvoyance because it's very, very handy. You can get initial indications of who's going in what lane, which is useful when you're going for that first engagement. Obviously, they'll try and get the first blood as well. And more to the point, in this case, we're using it to keep an eye on the guys in the jungle. Now, we knew that Xin Zhao was heading into the jungle, and we suspected, like most jungle heroes, he'd be starting around here, as you can see right there, which is where the blue is. It's the blue golem minion, which of course doesn't spawn until the minions spawn anyway. You can see Yarvin's in there. We don't see anybody else just yet, so they're being fairly cautious. Our entire team's hanging around here, and our aim is to deny this first jungle, hopefully try and steal the blue buff, give us a bit of an early edge, as well as handicap their jungler, and to try and grab a first blood, which, with a team like this, is fairly easy. I mean, we have 2 large AoE knockups. We've got Cho'gath with his Rupture, and we've also got Omega Hair right here with Alistar, who's got the big knockup as well. So, with those 2 AoEs and what we have as well, with a little bit of support here from Sona, and some good single-target damage from Blanzin and from Total Digest. They're playing Akali and Caitlyn, respectively. We thought we've got a pretty good chance here. So minions are spawned right now, so we're trying to time this to make sure that we don't go in too early. There's our little Clairvoyance to see what we've got. There's a Vladimir at the back right there, but there is really only 3 of them. So a quick flash in right there by Omega Hair with Alistar, who goes for the knockup, and we pick up the first blood nice and easy. I grab that one, and we drive them away. As it turns out, Xin Zhao was not, in fact, in this area, but this also means we get a free blue, and I'm going to give that to Alistar right there to give him a nice bit of an edge to start with. Immediately, I'll teleport up to the top and start engaging Gragas, who has a very, very slight experience lead, I would think, by this point, but it doesn't really matter because I picked up the first blood, which is wonderful. I was thinking here, I'm probably, if I'm totally honest, should have actually gone back immediately. I should have bead, picked up a crystal, one of the 2 crystals, and then immediately teleported into the lane. I made a big mistake there, but I say I'm very, very rusty, so half of the point of doing these little commentaries is to try and remember how to play at a higher level. Pick up Vorpal Spikes right there. As you can see, I'm picking up these abilities, I'm playing AP Cho'gath. Yeah, that's ability power Cho'gath. So I'll start with 34 right there with the Doran's Ring, so that's quite nice. And I'll be looking into doing a lot of AoE focused damage. I'm not really playing a tanky Cho'gath. You can play a tanky Cho'gath, certainly, but he's got so many great abilities here that all are affected by AP that to me it seems absolutely perfect to play this as a caster who is focused on AoE farming as well as disable and obviously direct damage with the Feast right there. You can still make him a bit tanky. That's kind of the cool thing. He's a very tough mage-style character once you start feasting. And Feast, if you don't know, every time you do it, every time you kill something with Feast, you gain 90 maximum health for a maximum of 6 stacks, and you also get larger, so you become quite the target. Mid lane right now, as you can see, we've got Akali versus Vladimir, which is an absolute pain in the ass for Akali, but she's dealing with it fairly well for the time being. And bottom lane, as you can see, Blitzcrank and Yavin. Now, I can only imagine that the way these guys are setting things up is they're probably trying to get all the kills on Yavin, so they can turn him into a bit of a carry. And if we have a look at the kills right now, you'll see that Sona's picked up none, whereas Caitlyn's picked up 12. So Sona is deliberately avoiding taking kills from Caitlyn so that Caitlyn can carry the team later on by being more powerful. Now, I think we are fairly fortunate that this lane down here is not all that competent. I mean, it's a nasty combo, potentially, but Caitlyn and Sona seem to be doing fairly well. And pushed back right there, and you'll see our Alistair is in the jungle, having no problems at all. A little bit of engagement on the top, but nothing to really worry about. Now, I think the mistake I really made here was perhaps pushing back a little bit too far. Rationale behind that is that if you push back really far, early on in the game, to their tower, then all it gives them is a bunch of free experience, and it makes them very, very safe. You can't do damage to the tower at that low level unless you've got, like, say, Caitlyn's range, and even then, you're going to be picking at it. So, a lot of the mistakes that new players really make in this game involve not last hitting properly. And that's all you should be doing. You shouldn't be going and auto-attacking mobs, because the more you auto-attack, the quicker you push back to the tower, and in the early game, that is a bad idea. Unless you're absolutely convinced you can get the early tower kill, you shouldn't do it. You simply should not. This can be very risky for big farm heroes like Cho'gath that can take out large waves simultaneously, because it's very, very tempting to do that for cash, but sometimes it ends up being a terrible idea because you can set up your opponent for some nice, easy last hits, and potentially, if he's got a very nasty ability, a gank. I mean, we talk about Gragas, for instance. Gragas' ultimate is a barrel that once he chucks it at you, you run in a random direction. Potentially, if I got too close to his tower and he was level 6 right there, he could barrel me. I could barrel right into his tower and then he could kill me. So, again, overextending at low levels is always something you need to be thinking about avoiding whenever possible. Now, Vlad feels confident pushing forward right here, simply because he can just use his pool to get out of there very easily. Pool, of course, makes you invincible while you're doing it. Very, very nice ability, very powerful. Sona and Caitlyn continuing to push forward. Actually put a trap down there as well. You'll notice this trap actually does contain cake, which does make it significantly more effective than most traps in this game, of course. Ultimate right there on Akali. Now, I don't know how accurate these HP bars actually are in this replay, by the way. And we're also seeing that Gragas is pushing me back, but again, not a big deal. Gragas in this game has this tendency of just throwing Ignites out over and over again, and it doesn't really help him out all that much. Especially when I'm running away like that and I was on half HP, it's nothing to really worry about. Big knock in the air right there, nice and easy, level 6, grab my Feast. What I should have done, again, to optimize this is to go back into there, Feast on one of these creeps, and then be out. Because that puts my Feast on cooldown, and it gives me that extra 90 HP. So that's something to consider whenever you're playing Cho'gath, is it's about timing when you actually decide to use your Feast. Because obviously if Feast is not up and you get an opportunity to feast on a hero, great. Fantastic. However, most of the time, you really should be feasting whenever it's off cooldown. And there's also an argument towards getting some kind of cooldown reduction stuff with Cho'gath for that very reason, since then you can just feast over and over again. Right now, I'm at 54.6 second cooldown. You can easily knock that down to 45. Pick up 2 items right there, the Ruby Crystal and the Sapphire Crystal. These are to turn into a Catalyst the Protector, which is to then go into a wonderful Rod of Ages. In this case, the fact that I wasn't able to pick up Catalyst was a big deal, and I really should have not screwed that up. I'm thinking earlier on in the game, if I'd actually beat as soon as that first kill had happened, picking up the first blood and actually bought one of these crystals, I would have been able to fight in this lane much more effectively. There were times when I was out of mana, so maybe a Sapphire Crystal initially would have helped a lot. I would have been able to throw out a few more spells and would have been able to, as a result, pick up a few more last hits and some more cash. That's a bit of a knock-up action going in right there. Unfortunately, Sona does get taken out quite nicely. Blitzcrank pulls him in, and then Yavin comes to finish him off. Caitlyn not willing to go in there right now, and I can hardly blame him. A little bit of shooting action. Shotting action? What is that? You can go with that if you like. Gragas stayed out of his lane quite a long time. This is actually an edge that I'm able to get on him as we go through the game, because I have teleport and he doesn't. Whenever he has to be, he's got quite the jog, and Gragas is not a quick character. Doing absolutely fine right there. There's a quick feast, as you heard in the background. The voice pack with this is fantastic, by the way. This is my favourite skin in the entire game for some very obvious reasons. Let's put it there by Caitlyn. A little bit of jungle action going on right there. Alistair stayed alive, which was nice. Now, Xin Zhao is actually out of position and could be very easily caught here if Caitlyn moves in. Again, that's very, very risky, particularly when you get followed by creeps from the other team, because we've got pure vision on him right now. There's a couple of shots going on right there. He tries to flash out, charges in straight away, knock up in the air, and this should be an easy pickup. Nicely done. Once again, be very, very careful if you happen to be jungling like that. If you're being followed by creeps, really you should be running away, because that means that everyone knows where you are. And there was a bit of poor map awareness right there. It's got ulted by Gragas. Not a big deal, not a huge amount of damage. He ignites me once again. It's unfortunate I didn't have Feast off cooldown, but to be fair, I would have had to hit him with a Rupture then a Feast, because otherwise I wouldn't have done the damage I needed. It would have been nice to get the stack off him that way, but, you know, it's not a big deal. Always looking to look for opportunities where I'm missing out on things. It would be very, very good. Since I'm trying to relearn the game and get back in practice, analyzing these replays is really helpful to me. Pick up a few more right there. Lacking last hitting skills. I can pick up one, and then the next one. Cho'gath's actually quite easy for getting last hits on because of the Vorpal Spikes ability. That actually launches spikes after you've done a physical attack, so your attacks become components. So you get your physical hit, and then you get a magical hit after that. So often if you screw it up, the Vorpal Spikes will finish them off, so it's pretty good. You can see the damage that's being done right there, 82 and then 49. Being constantly harassed by Gragas, which is to be expected in any lane with Gragas in it. Gragas usually works really well in a double lane for that reason, simply because you can just keep shucking the barrels out, and it's very, very effective. AP, i.e. ability power Gragas, is not an uncommon build. As you can see, I'm hitting him pretty damn hard right there. I've only picked up level 1 of Feral Scream simply because I want the silence component. I don't really want the damage component there, and I'd prefer Vorpal Spikes and Rupture for farming. That said, there are some builds that involve getting an earlier Feral Scream. It is possible to do. Once again, Vlad pushing forward, since he really has no fear of what's going on right now. I don't really blame him. Now, of course, if Peppy could get a really good grab right there with Blitzcrank, he could expect to do some fantastic damage, but he's really not been so great with the grabs in this entire game. He might just grab Caitlyn, but he's not close enough to the tower, so it doesn't really matter. A little bit of damage, nothing major. Now, I don't see any real need to go back yet. As far as I'm concerned, you should only be going back, 1, when you have the opportunity, or 2, when you absolutely need to, because you're so low on HP, you know you can't stand in the lane, or 3, when you can get an item that will sufficiently compensate for you being out of the lane for that long. For instance, I should have picked up Catalyst, in my opinion, as soon as this was available. I was actually waiting on Teleport, which is reasonable, but I think getting that Catalyst earlier might have helped more, because, of course, every time I leveled up, I get a bonus from Catalyst. Catalyst the Protector gives you health and mana every time you level up once you have it. So the earlier you get Catalyst, the better. But it's fine, because I can pick up Catalyst, and I can also pick up my boots here as well. Misses the ultimate. Very unfortunate for him right there. Look for the Rupture. Can I get the land on him? Yes, I can. And big damage coming in right there. He goes for that Ignite early again, which really is kind of curious. And Gragas can heal himself, but so can I. If I'm able to do major damage to minions, for instance, then I can use my passive, which is Carnivore, to gain my health and mana back. Not really a big deal. In the meantime, Alistair's told me on Vent to come down and pick up this blue, so I'm going to get a free stack of Feast right here, as well as the blue buff, which is wonderful. In the meantime, we've got Caitlyn going up there, finishes off Yarman. Unfortunately now intercepted by the one and only... Doesn't help. Caitlyn is now doing sick damage, as you can see. Look at all that stuff. Very, very good. She's hitting like a truck. So, Caitlyn picks up a double kill and is well on the way to being the carry for this particular game, which was to be expected. And Caitlyn as a carry is really great simply because of the range. She's absolutely fantastic at what she does. Very effective character at the moment. Alistair, moving out as quickly as he can, looking around, seeing what he can see, tries to grab some of these. As I say, he's still going to stay in the jungle for the moment, and his role is to try and support us and try and get some good ganks. Now, that was a nice move there by Gragas, who was able to charge out on my Rupture. If I'd landed that, that would have been very dangerous. My Feast was on cooldown, so he probably would have got away, but maybe I could have forced him to either run back to the tower or actually out of the lane entirely, which would have been really beneficial, because we're currently sitting on kind of the same level of ability. But I do have Crest of the Ancient Golem, which is wonderful. That basically means, at this point, I do have full mana all the time. And it also reduces my cooldown, so I've got 42-second cooldown on Feast. How good is that? The answer is very, very cool indeed. Now, I actually hold on to my Feast here, because I was thinking maybe I could get a kill, but since he backed off, I decided, nah, I'm just going to go... I'll get a Feast, I'll put it on cooldown. As I say, with a blue buff, 42-second cooldown on Feast, you should be hitting this every time you can. So I've got 360 extra health. I'm already almost on 2,000, and this guy's only on 1,400. In the meantime, there's the ulti of Sona going off right there, trying to get a lockdown. Unfortunately, nothing really happens there. Akali not able to follow up on Xin Zhao, and Blanton quickly jumping out as much as he can, flashing out of that one. Now, I do have Alistair around here, trying to help me out, but right now we don't really have an interception, and by the looks of it, Boonstar actually has a... He must have a ward here somewhere, because he saw that coming a mile away. Push them right back in the middle, right back to the tower, which is good. You know, we know where 4 of them are. That's perfect. And if need be, we can go and look for the team fight in the middle. Megahead taking a fair amount of damage there. You see, Alistair, actually, with this build, is really, really squishy. I have massive amounts of HP in comparison to him, but it's alright. We're going to tower dive for him right here. We reckon we can get it. There's the Feast, and one more hit should clean him out. Unfortunately, Alistair decides to run away right here, which really didn't help at all. We could have picked up Yavin, I think, here, but as it turns out, we did make a mistake. There was a good knock away from there. I did try and land the Rupture, but I have this curse of not ever being able to hit Yavin with a Rupture this entire freaking game. It just does not happen. He gets stunned by somebody, and then I pop the Rupture down in front of him, and I underestimate, or indeed overestimate the stun one way or the other, and then I fail. It's pretty horrible. Collie out of there, and unfortunately with this replay client, it seems that obviously it all goes grey when I'm dead. Maybe there's small features that I don't know about it, but the LoL replay system is unofficial right now, and as a result, not ideal. But I'm looking forward to the spectator and replay modes coming in for League of Legends, finally. I mean, this stuff should have been in the game a year ago, if I'm totally honest. It's good that they're finally putting it in. They did very, very well at DreamHack, actually, with a stream that got about 220,000 concurrent viewers, which is unbelievably good, so well done to them. I have to wonder how much of that is simply due to the fact that you don't get to spectate League of Legends as much. Okay, so what have I picked up? I finally got my Catalyst, I've got my Sorcerer's Shoes, and I got my Blasting Wand. So, this is really late, in my opinion. I could have got Rod of Ages much quicker than this, and it would have been beneficial if I had, but... We're alright for the moment. I mean, we're winning 9-3, so I'm not too concerned. I've already picked up 2 kills. I've only died once, so it's not too shabby. Caitlyn now pushing up the top, and what we're trying to do right here is to break this top lane so that we can go for the tower kill. In the meantime, Sona and Akali in the middle. That was a nice stun right there, but he pulled out of it, so freaking Vladimir is infuriating like that. Yavin charging in right now. Vladimir driven away as quickly as possible. There's another charge, and he's going for the kill, and he picks it up. That's the problem with Sona. He is... Well, the player of Sona obviously is a he, but Sona would be a she. That would be kind of weird. Sona is really squishy, and hasn't been taking a lot of kills this entire game, so it doesn't have a massive amount of money. You can see right there that you can see Sona's only picked up 8 creep kills total, because Caitlyn has been the carry in that lane. So, Caitlyn's picked up 97, which means that Caitlyn has ridiculous items already. A lot of very heavy hitting damage. We were looking for a team fight in the middle right there, we couldn't get it. Meantime, Caitlyn with a little bit of harassment going on right there, trying to bring Gragas in as quickly as possible. More to the point, will she be able to? And this was, in my opinion, a missed opportunity. As I said, Akali actually drove Xin Zhao away from that tower, whereas, really, she should have let Xin Zhao get closer, and then we could have landed the Rupture and got the kill, but... As I say, mistakes happen. I think a lot of us are really out of practice at this game, so I'm looking forward to getting back into it. But here's an opportunity. There is Blitzcrank coming in. Alistair actually is going to take the kill here, but big Rupture in the middle there. Big damage. There's the silence landing on at least 2. Look for the Feast and grab it. Always good. And Alistair actually stays alive, unbelievable. We'll push him all the way back there. We eat the blood plague in the middle there. Or whatever the hell it's called. I must apologize if some of my descriptions of abilities are a little dodgy. I can't remember all of the names of the abilities just yet, because I've been out of action so long. But yeah, the plague in the middle, not so great. Hemoplague, yes, that's it, Hemoplague. Oh, there was an opportunity. Can we pick up Yavin after this one? What? Look at that! I can't hit Yavin, ever! I miss him. It's like, he's gonna move backwards. No, he isn't. In the meantime, Gragas is just beaten away on this tower, very, very ineffectually. I should be able to eventually take that out, but I'll teleport in to stop that. As I say, losing that tower is not really a big deal at the moment. We're already winning quite nicely, 10 kills to 5. Caitlyn looks for an opportunity right there. There's the quick shot through. Not able to bring down Blitzcrank, but a good bit of harassment nonetheless. And keeping him close to his tower, and as such, out of XP range for the general middle push. Some wonderful pickups. Once you get to this level of Rupture, with the amount of damage you're able to do, you can clean up creep lanes very, very quickly. Nice bit of regeneration from Catalyst, which brings me above 2,000 HP, which is wonderful for a caster version of this. And of course, if you get Rod of Ages, you get even higher. That's really why I think the caster version of Cho'gath works so well, because in combination with Feast, Rod of Ages gives you so much HP. Even if you don't have a lot of armor, you can still soak up an awful lot of damage, so you can be an effective caster. In the meantime, we'll look for a grab in the middle. There's the ultimate of Sona going off. Doesn't really help all that much. Caitlyn looking for the follow-up. There's the blink, and Blanzin is the hell out of there. Quickly as possible. Quick grab on Caitlyn. Unfortunately, his team weren't there ready for the follow-up. Blitzcrank in the middle, a bit of team fighting action going on. Can they pick up anybody? They looks to try and pick up Vladimir. And there's 600 HP. Assuming these HP bars are right. As I said, this replay client doesn't seem to read them right half the time, but there you go. Caitlyn with some good range damage, driving them away. Unfortunately, not able to pick up the kill, but in the meantime, I'm going to have blue once again. Delicious! Yes, there we go. That is 4 times on Feast there, so that takes me to 2.27k. Quite tanky for a mage, as I said. You can go way higher than that. There are builds with Cho'gath involve building Warmogs, for instance, which is an item that will stack up HP on you, and obviously with some armor, being a really tanky Cho'gath, it works. There's also a build called Cho'ball Snowgath, which is comical because it's all snowball items, and of course you can throw Warmogs in there as well. Why? Why, Yarvin? Why you run into my Rupture every time? Trying to pick up a kill right here, but unfortunately it doesn't work out quite as well as I would have liked. There's Xin Zhao going in right there, going for me, but I've got a big HP buffer, so I'm able to soak up a lot of that. We will probably lose Alistair in the process. There's the knock-up, trying to follow it up with a Rupture right there. Not able to land it. Go for Xin Zhao. We do have reinforcements coming in right here, so I'm told on Vent to try and hold as much as possible. Big damage on Xin Zhao. There's the cleanup, and Caitlyn grabs it. There's another charge. Can we get Yarvin more to the point? I think we probably can. There's the exhaust and the follow-up. Very, very nicely done there, and worth sacrificing 2 for 1 there, without question. I mean, Alistair up until this point has really only been there to try and go in for the ganks and obviously soak up a lot of damage. He's been doing a good job of that, and we should be able to follow up very easily on this tower. I'm actually kind of surprised that Blitzcrank decided to hang around, because it should have been very obvious that we could follow up. There's the big damage, and down he goes. And no, 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 Vladimir, we're not having that. Delicious. There we go. And there's the surrender. Not a bad little game, folks. Not a bad little game for probably about the 4th or 5th game back. A lot of things I need to work on, but Cho'gath's good fun. Big, big fan of the Cho. If you're interested in signing up for League of Legends, you can do so. You can use my referral link at the bottom if you really do. That's a EU referral link, by the way. If I do get, I think, 600 more referrals past level 5, I'll have access to every piece of content in the game, so I can show you all sorts of stuff. So if you do want to sign that up, that will be fantastic. If not, then sign over at leagueoflegends.com.